Delphine Duelchron. In the shadowed alleys of New Chronos, where the air hummed with the faint tick of forgotten clocks, Delphine Duelchron moved like a ghost through her ordinary days. She was a woman of quiet fire, her skin etched with the faint scars of past echoes, her eyes holding the weight of unwritten tomorrows. By day, she repaired timepieces in a dusty shop, coaxing life back into gears that whispered secrets of what once was. But in her heart burned a fierce desire to master the chronal echo duels, those forbidden contests where duelists wrestled with fragments of time itself, bending history's threads to claim victory or oblivion. Delphine longed not just for the thrill of the duel, but for the power to rewrite the losses that haunted their lineage, to seize control over the relentless march that had stolen so much from her peaceful. One rain-slicked evening, as Delphine polished a fractured hourglass, the door to her shop burst open with a gust that rattled the windows. In strode Harlan Voss, a rival duelist with eyes like shattered mirrors and a smirk that cut deeper than any blade. He tossed a glowing chronal shard onto the counter, a challenge echo pulsing with the essence of a duel long lost. "I've heard whispers of your hunger, Duelchron," he said, his voice a low rumble. "But echoes don't yield to dreamers. Face me in the veil, or watch your desires fade like yesterday's light." The shard's light invaded her veins, disrupting the quiet rhythm of her world, forcing Delphine to grasp it and step into the fray, propelled by a surge of defiance she could no longer ignore. Delphine crossed into the veil, the boundary between now and never, where fight-or-flight folded like paper under invisible hands. The air thickened with spectral winds, and the ground shifted beneath their boots, replaying fragments of battles long past. Her first challenge came swiftly. A swarm of echo wraiths, remnants of defeated duelists, lunging with claws that clawed at her memories. She dodged and struck, her chronal blade humming as it severed their ties to the present. But the unknown pressed in. Illusions of their mother's final duel flickered around her, testing her focus. Sweating, heart-pounding, Delphine pressed forward, each step a venture deeper into the labyrinth of time, where every shadow hid a trial and every echo carried a lesson in survival. Deep in the veil's heart, amid swirling vortices of captured moments, Delphine uncovered a revelation that shattered her resolve like fragile glass. Touching a forbidden echo crystal, visions flooded her. Not just Harlan's challenge, but the truth of their own bloodline, her ancestors, stolen not by chance but by a hidden chronal conspiracy, their duels rigged to preserve an elite order. The stakes soared. This was no personal quest, but a war against the weavers of time who hoarded its power. Gasping, Delphine realized that blade alone wouldn't suffice. She needed to embrace the echoes within herself, to duel not as a lone fighter, but as a conduit for the silenced voices of their past. The shift ignited a fiercer purpose, turning her path from seeker to revolutionary. The trials escalated, each obstacle a forge testing Delphine's mettle. In one chamber she faced Ilara Thorn, a cunning echo duelist whose illusions twisted time into mazes of regret, forcing Delphine to relive her deepest failures. Blade clashing against phantom steel, Delphine faltered, doubt creeping in like fog. Then came the gauntlet of temporal storms, where riptides of accelerated years aged to weapons and sapped the strength, demanding she grow beyond raw fury into calculated grace. Allies emerged briefly. Jackson Reed, a rogue mechanic with a knack for chronal hacks, lent her a stabilizing gauntlet, but betrayals loomed, sharpening her resolve. Through sweat and scars, Delphine evolved, her movements now a dance of inherited wisdom, her spirit unyielding against the mounting shadows. At the Veil's core, where time's raw pulse thundered like a heartbeat, Delphine confronted Harlan Voss in the climax of Echoes. He stood atop a platform of frozen moments, his form amplified by stolen chronal energy, summoning waves of historical warriors to overwhelm her. "You can't rewrite what's written," he taunted, his blade slicing through loops that trapped Delphine in repeating defeats. But she channeled the revelation's fire, merging with her ancestors' echoes, mothers, warriors, dreamers long silenced. Her strikes wove their strengths into hers, shattering his illusions one by one. The duel raged, time fracturing around them until Delphine's final thrust pierced the heart of his power, a head-on collision that echoed through eternity, claiming victory not through force but through the unbreakable thread of the reclaimed heritage. As the veil dissolved back into the familiar hum of New Chronos, Delphine emerged transformed, the weight of conquest mingling with quiet sorrow. Harlan's echo faded into harmless whispers, his conspiracy exposed to those ready to listen. Scars new and old marked her skin, but her eyes shone with a hard-won clarity. No longer just a repairer of timepieces, she was now a guardian of its truths. The ordinary world felt altered. Allies like Jackson stood ready to build a new order, free from rigged duels. Delphine returned to her shop, but with a transformed normalcy, teaching the young ones the art of echoes, ensuring no desire for justice would ever again be silenced by the relentless tick of forgotten clocks.